If you're looking to analyse a property deal, estimate some renovation costs, or have a breakdown of potential profits, then this tool is for you. In this video, I'm going to walk you through my Flip Deal Analyser step by step so you can see exactly how it works so you can get the most from it. This is for anyone interested in analysing your property, whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned investor and just want a more dynamic analyzer. And stick around till the end because I've got some bonus tips to help you in analysing your deal. Hi, I'm Raminder and I'm a financial modeller with more than 15 years of experience working with a range of clients from startups to side hustle businesses right up to large established companies, helping them get clarity and structure through smart strategic spreadsheets. Before I start, a huge thank you to you if you've already purchased a deal analyzer. It really does mean a lot. And if you haven't got one yet and you're interested in buying one, please head to the link in the description box below where you'll be able to get one from my website. Okay, so let's dive in. Okay, so let's start at the info sheet, which has an introduction and some step-by-step instructions. We're going to go through these in today's video, but this is just here for your quick reference. This also outlines some of the key calculations and metrics used in the spreadsheet. So you will notice that there's two lists here, one for property type and one for ownership type. I've already pre-populated these, but these can be changed at any time to suit what you want to add. Simply delete, amend the existing entries, or add additional new options. Next, I want to show you the glossary page, which outlines all the key terminology. This calculator has a dashboard, an analyzer, an integrated renovation planner, and a supplier contact list. Before we begin with the calculation sheets, I just want to show you the supplier contact sheet, where you can enter all your supplier contacts for the project so you have them all in one place. Simply add the name of the company, any tasks that are associated with that company, the contact name, and contact details, and some space to add notes too. This can be filtered so you can see all the items relating to a task, for example, or you can sort this alphabetically. It's totally up to you. Okay, so let's head to the analyzer sheet. There's quite a lot going on in this sheet, so let me zoom out and I'll show you what's going on. We start with our key property details, then we have some space to analyse some comparable properties, then we have 4 sections to capture key costs, and beneath that we have our financing calculations. Underneath that we have some space to make notes and add some images or floor plans. Okay, so let me just zoom back in so we can see a bit more detail. This section captures the key details about the property and the purchase. Let's start by selecting our currency from the drop-down. Hopefully the currency that you require is on the list. If it's not, please let me know and I can add it in for you. Then add the property name, address, and the website link. The property name is simply there just to update the titles of these pages. Then add the listing date, select the property type, select the number of bedrooms and bathrooms, and then add the surface area and the ownership type. The property type and the ownership type lists are those that we saw on the info sheet. If you need to make any changes, just make them there and they will feed through to here. Then we add the asking price, the purchase price, and the estimated completion date. Select the number of months that you wish to hold the property while you renovate, and this will then drive the estimated resale date. These inputs can be changed at any time throughout the deal. There is also a section here to add some images or floor plans. You can add these by simply going to Insert on the toolbar above, go to Pictures, Place Over Cells, and then select from wherever your pictures are saved. Next we go on to the Comparable section, where we can list up to 4 comparable properties. This is so you can get an idea of what kind of similar properties have been sold in the nearby area in recent months. Enter the property address, the distance in miles, the sold price, and the sold date. Then we can add the size of the property and the number of bathrooms and bedrooms. You can add a website link here, some space for notes. This is a really useful exercise to do to help validate the potential of your property deal. Now we move on to our cost sections, and I've divided these up into 4 main sections. The first one is the purchase cost section, where we need to list out all our purchase costs involved in the deal. The first line is an automated calculation which picks up the mortgage fees, and I'll talk through that when we go through the financing. This is where you need to list things like stamp duty, your legal fees, search fees, sourcing fees, and anything else that goes into the actual purchase process. For each cost item, you have the option of either applying a percentage of purchase price, a one-off cost, or both. and then this is auto-calculated into the total column. And then we move on to our holding costs. So these are the costs related to holding the property while we renovate. So things like mortgage payments, utilities, property taxes. In our assumptions above, we assume to be holding the property for 6 months, so our bills will be apportioned for that time period. So we have 6 months worth of mortgage payments. This is auto-calculated, and I'll show you that as we get to it. Then we simply list out our cost amounts and their frequency. So for example, our utilities might be £200 per month. The total column will calculate this to 6 months worth. Then our council tax might be an annual charge of £1,200. The total column will apportion the annual charge to the 6 months hold time. If we scroll up and change the hold time to say 4 months, you'll see that this has changed. Now we move on to the renovation costs. So this calculator has an integrated renovation planner. So this section will pull through all the costs and the dates from the renovation planner sheet. I've split the renovation process into these key areas, which hopefully capture most of the development phases. Okay, so let's head over to the renovation sheet and start adding some renovation costs. So first things first, we can add a start date of our renovation. This will then update our project timeline, which is split by day and then by weeks and stretched over 18 months. Each of the categories that we saw on the Analyzer sheet are listed here with some space to enter specific tasks within that category. Then it's simply a case of populating the relevant sections and it will all feed through to the Analyzer. So let's add some tasks. You can add in a supplier if you would like, add a cost and a quantity, and this will total up here. If there is no cost to the task, you can just leave it blank. Then we add in the number of days that it takes to complete that task, which are rounded to the nearest whole number. Then we enter a start date for that task, and then the end date will automatically update. As we progress throughout the project, we can add a percentage of progress here, which will update the timeline. So due to some limitations of Excel, it won't show you exactly the percentage split on the timeline itself, but it's enough to give you a broad perspective. Okay, so let me update the rest of the renovation planner. And now let's head back to the Analyzer to see a summary of our renovation costs. As you can see, we now have all the dates and costs updated in this table. It might be that you don't want or have a full breakdown of costs and dates, and maybe you've just got a ballpark figure. That's totally fine. Just add it to the other section on the planner, and then the costs will feed through to here. Then the last of our cost sections is our selling costs. So these are things like our fees for our selling solicitors and our selling agents. And again, for each cost item, you have the option of either applying a percentage, and so in this time is a percentage of the end value, or a one-off cost, or both. And then this is auto-calculated into the total column. Then we move on to our finances, which is divided into mortgage, bridging, and cash. It might be that we're thinking about getting a mortgage for this deal, so we simply add in our loan to value, our interest rate, and our arrangement fee. For the arrangement fee, you have the option of paying upfront or adding it to the loan. Then you can list any other fees and amounts in this bit here. The summary below will calculate how much loan you'll get based on the LTV and the purchase price, and then how much deposit is then required. It works out the monthly mortgage payment on an interest-only basis and summarises your mortgage fees. As we selected upfront payment for our arrangement fee, it will be added to the total fees here. But if we change this to added to loan, we can see that the fees go down, and then this is added to our loan amount, which also increases our monthly mortgage amount. The mortgage fees feed directly into the purchase cost section, and the mortgage payment feeds directly into our holding costs. It might be that we're also weighing our options and thinking about a bridging loan. So in this section, we can add our LTV, our monthly interest rate, and our loan term. Then we can add in our fees and see from the summary how much net loan we will receive minus the interest and the fees, and how much deposit is required through this approach. This number here is the total cash required on this deal, which adds all our deposit, purchase costs, our hold costs, renovation costs, and selling costs. So we can either pay that amount ourselves with our own cash, or we can use a private investor. To use a private investor, check this box and simply enter how much you wish to borrow from an investor, the term, and then the amount of interest that you will offer them. This summary option then allows you to choose how you fund the project. So you can tick either the mortgage option or the bridging option, but not both, or you can uncheck them both and fund the entire deal by cash. Before we head to the dashboard, here is some additional space to add some more images and plans and notes. Okay, so let's head to the dashboard. This brings through a summary of everything that we've entered on the Analyser sheet. We have some headline figures at the top, some summary tables below. So firstly, we have the summary of our property details, and then we have a summary of the total investment required. We can also see if we bought below market value, and then any potential equity gain by comparing our purchase price and the end value. We also have the total cost of the deal, which is our purchase price plus all of the costs, and then a split of how we are funding the deal. And then of course the key summary, looking at whether we can expect to profit or not. So we have our end value, then we pay back our mortgage loan, we pay back our investor plus the interest, and then we account for our own cash in the deal, which leaves us with the final profit amount, our profit margin, and then the return on cash invested. Now, if we want to play around with the assumptions, for example, if we wanted to see what happens if we went for a bridging loan, we can just head back to the Analyser sheet, uncheck the mortgage option, and then tick this box for the bridging loan, and then we'll see on the dashboard that we need to pay back the gross bridging loan as well as the investor loan and interest, leaving us with slightly less profit. And maybe we want to fund it entirely with private investor cash, or maybe even our own. Beneath the tables, I've created some charts to show you a visual summary of the deal. So key dates from listing date to completion date to resale date. Then we have a deal cost breakdown so you can see where proportionally your money is going. We have a funding split, and then we have a comparison of your comparables in terms of relative sold prices and distances. We have a breakdown of purchase costs, hold costs, renovation costs, and your selling costs. And then finally, we have a key dates map which shows the allocation of your costs. So just to note that this is not about cash flow, this is just to show you a cost allocation to provide you with an overview. Every property deal is highly nuanced, so this calculator won't catch all the options, but hopefully it will give you a good guide. If you're looking for something a bit more specific to your business, I do create tailor-made models and spreadsheets, so please do contact me through my website if that's something that interests you. Additionally, if you'd like this branded to your company colours and logo, that's also something that I can do. All links are in the description box below. Okay, so now we know how to analyse our property deals. I'm going to give you 3 quick tips to help you in your process. A successful flip begins with a clear picture of all the costs involved. So this includes purchase costs, renovation costs, selling costs, and all the other costs that are involved. Knowing all these costs up front just ensures that you're calculating your profit on a solid foundation rather than some broad assumptions. Delays can happen, costs can change, and things don't always go as we plan. So it's really important to build in a contingency of maybe 10 or 15%. This just gives you that breathing space and protects those profit margins. Profitability isn't just about numbers on paper or in a spreadsheet. It's also about how attractive a finished property is to buyers. Research the local area, understand what buyers want, and ensure that your property aligns with market demand that supports your resale value. So I hope this gives you more clarity and confidence in analysing those property deals, and hopefully it will help you to get those high returns. I'd love to know how your property journey is going, and if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them. I release similar content every single week, so if you found this helpful, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel and join me in future videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.